Custard and jelly, and welcome to Shift+F1, a podcast about speedy race cars. That, by the way, is Cockney rhyming slang for telly or television. Because I have to completely rescind or maybe qualify everything that I said about F1 TV and Apple TV previously. Because the people have commented, the people have pointed out to me that there is a much more reliable way to find the Sky broadcast on Apple TV.
Oh, do tell.
Yes. Special thanks to my buddy Ethan, who sent me a very helpful video walking me through. So, okay. If you've got Apple TV, you go to the Apple TV app where you usually are watching F1. You go to the F1. There's like a icon on the side where you find all the F1 stuff. You click that. And then there's a oh boy, I don't have the UI terminology for this, but there's like a part of the list that you're scrolling through when you're in the F1 zone called Catch the Entire 2026 Season. And they've got tiles per different Grand Prix.
Okay.
You click into that for the one you want to watch, and then you scroll down until you see the Sky section.
Okay.
And there they have all of the replays. Now, they only stay up for like a week.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're like us and you're keeping up to date with, I want to watch it around the weekend that it's happening, you're fine. But don't expect it to be there for like, oh, you know what? I missed Monaco. Let me go back, because it won't be there. For that, you would have to then link your Apple TV and F1 TV account. But back to the watching Sky on Apple TV, it is what you said, Danny. It is the full Sky broadcast. So for qualifying, you get to see them going to the Sky pad or whatever to do, analysis of so-and-so's qualifying lap. Instead of when you're on Apple TV, you just hear them talking about it because you're only getting the world video feed.
Nice. Brundle's little walk as well through the grid.
All the pre-show stuff. A lot of the little, like, I don't know what you'd call them. The little packages where Ted Kravitz and Valtteri Bottas ride a bicycle around the Austrian, that kind of stuff. So yeah, thank you to everyone who wrote in and pointed that out.
Thank you to our sponsor Sky this week.
That's right.
I mostly just want my Sky pre-race show back. That's
there you go.
That is a good broadcast. And that's really where the F1 TV can match them, right? The entire pre-packaged going out and doing field reports.
It really is the field stuff, and with Bernie Collins actually on the pit wall. It's just a. You can debate the comparing both commentary teams, but it's the sort of ancillary stuff that the Sky, surprisingly, well, it's not that F1 TV I think couldn't get access, but they probably just don't have the budget that Sky does, right? So their coverage is much more comprehensive. But yes, I'm Drew Scanlon. Joining me, Danny O'Dwyer. How are you, Danny?
I'm doing great. We had a ridiculous day in the World Cup for penalty shootouts yesterday.
You're reeling.
Stopped talking about it. Yes, as a member of the Goalkeepers Union, it was particularly enjoyable. Yeah, enlightening. Yeah, it's wild. But yes, it's been a great sporting weekend. We had NASCAR locally as well, and F1. F1 was, I'm sort of spoiled on the West Coast here with the times for the football. Like, this is very much like the way they have positioned the World Cup games. It is perfect for people on the West Coast. They're on the afternoon and they run until the nighttime. So the 6 a.m. for Austria was a welcome wake up call to what I usually have to do over here when I want to watch the sports that I love.
It's reminding me a little of when I was in Ukraine for Cloth Map. I wanted to watch F1 live, which is something you rarely get to do in America without waking up early. And so I walked into a pub, and there was a woman at the front. And she said, to the left, we have the football, and to the right, we have the formula.
Hell yeah.
Also joining us, Rob Zachney. How are you, Rob?
Doing great. Eager to talk about, at least it was a very fun race for about 12 laps.
Yeah. yeah, not a classic, this one, but plenty to talk about.
Sure. If you're new to this podcast, a very warm welcome to you. And if you are new to Formula One itself, we've got an episode just for you. Our preseason primer episode assumes no prior F1 knowledge and explains how the sport works and who everybody is. So if you'd like to go back and listen to that, it's episode 338. Also, this show would not be possible without our audience over at patreon.com/shiftf1, where every month we release ad-free versions of the podcast early, along with bonus podcasts and videos exclusively for our patrons that cover racing documentaries and films, F1 video games, experiments with other racing series, and a lot of weird things. So if you would like to support the show and get access to all that fun stuff, head over to patreon.com/shiftf1 or click the link in the show notes. What do we have going on this month, Danny?
Yes, we have been racing. We have been death racing over on the Patreon. We have just in the past 2 days we've produced 2 Patreon exclusive podcasts. One on the original Roger Corman produced 1975 Death Race, and one on the Jason Statham led spiritual successor, which came out in 2008. Which 2 different movies, let's just say that. Drew, you weren't able to join us for the second one, but did you watch it?
No.
You didn't?
How was it? Should I watch it?
I couldn't spoil it here, but yeah, maybe you watched the good one.
But we did say, like, there's important messages about fatherhood in that movie.
Okay. I should probably take some notes.
Yeah. I think you learn a few things.
Okay.
I will say it did produce maybe the funnier of the 2 podcasts, because there is so much weird stuff in Death Race, the 2008 one. Also just a nightmarish naming convention, because Death Race 2000 came out in 75, and then the one in 2008 is just called Death Race, which means you feel like you need to say Death Race 2008, but that makes it sound like, it also makes it sound like,
actually, I feel like when you start saying like the name of the movie but then the year, and it's the remake, you've decisively lost the remake sweepstakes.
Yes,
where it is like, nobody says Ocean's 11 and means like the Sinatra movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But Death Race, everyone's like, Death Race 2008.
Yeah.
Not the good one, Death Race 2008. Apparently we do need to watch Death Race 2050, which Corman did produce.
Oh, fantastic.
So like 2018 it came out or something?
Yeah.
Like weirdly recently.
Late career Corman.
And there also is, of course, 2 sequels
without
to
watching
the
those.
Statham one. Yeah. Which don't have him in it.
Couldn't even get Statham.
No, he's done. He's out of there at that stage. He's whatever he's making.
It's like, I'm an artist. This is beneath me.
He's like, I wrapped my story, clearly,
Okay.
Oh my God, so many Frankensteins. Yeah, so please check those out. That was, I think, one of our best double headers for a while. Just very, very entertaining movies for very different reasons. Yes, shout out to our incredible title sponsors over at patreon.com/shiftf1. Zylander Al Gashwari to plot to produce The Military Industrial Complex, War Izzle, R.I.P. Egberto and Igor Foreman, That Video Game Podcast, Let's Margot Racing, Eaching Wells, Dr. V, Deange, It's a Me, Ferrario, Nicotine Pouches, Mojo Nixon, Get Rich O'Ty Ryan, Agave ATX, Cyphers Trading, Turf SCS, Michael Maves, Cigarettes, TelemetryDeck.com, FTC, Bottas Calendar 2026, Drew Stewart. Oh, this is what this meant in a foreign language last week. Styrian fried chicken with potato salad and pumpkin seed oil.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. That sounds nice.
Sounds great.
Bailey Foot, Abraham Getchell, E3 Mysteries, hashtag Bunny Fiend. Oh, I hope you found work. Good job, Bunny. Snigs, Alex Goucher, Jeff Foster, Troy Stammer, William Romph, Lachlan the Maddened Man, Samurai Love Story, and Jason Kelly. Thank you all so much for supporting our adventures on the track and off.
And across the nation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Nations.
Oh? Do we go further afield?
I mean, every race, a different nation.
Oh, I see. I was doing a death race thing, but
oh, okay. Sorry, my brain has been wiped with all the Death Race 2000 things now, and I'm just terrified. Case. Yes, exactly. Do you know they had pickups? They had they had like little shields and swords on the ground, and like Mario Kart in the new one.
God.
Yeah,
maybe I do need to watch this.
It's a lot.
You know,
Release the tombstone. It's good stuff.
what do you want on your tombstone?
I want a driver to smash straight into it, and also latent homophobia. It gets very strange.
Great.
We were at the start. We talked about how it might actually be more cancelable than the exploitation movie original.
Great. Okay. Well, I've got a lot of 3 a.m. baby watching hours.
Perfect.
To
They'll
put
love
on
it.
something stupid in the back. Oh yeah, yeah. They love it. Okay, let's get to the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix, and boy howdy, the end of Q3. Exciting, strange.
Controversial.
Controversial. Who wants to describe it? I can do it here.
I'll do it. I'll take it off. Yeah. So basically, pretty decent qualifying all around. We are definitely starting to see, as you'll go through the grid, who the bottom three teams are at this stage. The usual, will Nico Hulkenberg make it into the next section? Drama.
Spoilers, no.
Yeah, and then on the final laps, the sort of Q3,
Q3 run 2.
Exactly, run 2, 20 seconds left on the timer. We cut to cockpit of Max Verstappen taking the final turn. He loses the rear, car flies out rather into the gravel, and he hits the tire barrier. So he's out, and we are assuming probably with a crash like that at the end of qualifying, the track is, if not initially, but then eventually sort of neutralized. We see Kimi Antonelli pulling into the pits, and then suddenly, at least on the broadcast I was watching, the F1 TV one, the commentators start freaking out because they're like, "Oh, George Russell managed to get pole." So then it's a bit of how did he drive through some yellows?
Because he was not on top. It was Charles Leclerc who was holding pole position. Then Max crashed, and then on the Sky feed they were like, "Well, that's it. George Russell will have to abandon his lap." Wait a minute. He has just set the fastest time by 0.2 of a second. What is going on? That'll almost certainly have to be deleted.
Yes. And yet, because George Russell comes on the radio immediately talking about how he had to lift. I lifted. I had to lift for the yellow flag. So there's a single waved yellow happening at the time that he passes through. Kimi actually came into the pits thinking it was a double waved yellow, and that he'd have to abort the corner anyway. So he came in.
And we should describe here the difference. Single waved yellow is you must lift. You must show that you have seen the yellow and be careful. A double waved yellow is you have to slow significantly and be prepared to stop.
Correct. Yes, be prepared to stop. So they are significantly different. You could also argue that there is some wiggle room in there for what exactly slowing is for a single waved yellow, but Russell does lift. If you look at the telemetry on the previous push lap he did lift. He lifted as much as he needed to for the rules.
Right. So what is that? Is it just like a whoop?
Yeah.
A little dip in the graph?
0.2 or something, or 1.5 or something
Which
like that.
Which is crazy because he got get pole by 0.2. Yeah.
It's remarkable. Obviously the Mercedes is a fast car, but that's still
his middle sector must have been monstrous too, because
everyone was setting super fast middle sectors as well at that end. It was Verstappen at purples as well.
It was really wild because the entire Sky crew, they were like, "Well, that lap's not going to stand."
Because double yellows did come out.
They did
20 seconds after the crash actually happened.
Yeah. So they were just
that's what we saw.
And we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
And they're just going to delete that lap time. And then, Russell's pulling into the P1 position, and Kravitz notes, it's still on the timesheets. And I do think one thing that might have thrown them, they went to his in-car, and they were like, oh, it's clearly double-waved yellows on the light panel.
On the dash, is it?
And
the panel off the
there's
side
an
of the
FIA
track.
light panel there. Right. It's sort of just past the apex of turn 9. They're like, so it looks like there's double wave yellow there, but was it possible that the LED sync refresh was also confusing matters a little bit?
Funny.
That you're seeing a flicker that is distorting what the actual indicator is. Either way, Antonelli immediately just aborted the entire lap, and then Russell had gone through
because he thought it was a double.
Right,
Antonelli did.
Well, and I think you might have seen it happen in front of him too. Like he was close to he was like right he was not far behind Verstappen.
Okay.
And it certainly was one of those things where that's going to end that's ending the session effectively. But the FIA's explanation was they didn't have anyone at the marshalling post who could immediately evaluate. Like the marshalling post was not like right where the wreck happened. So the FIA's explanation is they wanted to give Verstappen time to get the car going and see if he could limp back to the pits. Now, from the in-car perspective, where everyone had seen the crash happen, because they had literally, it's the final run, so they're doing the thing where I don't know who had just like snatched Q. I don't know who had just snatched P1, but it was they do the thing where you show the lap finish, and then it's like, oh, but wait, let's go see what Max has got, and they cut to Max. So everyone saw the in-car view of Max just burying it in the wall, and so everyone watching was like, that car is stranded, that car is going nowhere. But apparently the FIA, this is all happening very, very quickly. It's like 22 seconds before they get the double wave yellow out there, but the FIA saw a fairly intact looking Red Bull in the gravel next to the wall and didn't immediately call the double wave yellows. And so, Russell, sort of sneaked through and got that P1. Russell is, I wouldn't mind him teaching the board game on board game night. I do not know that I want to play a board game seriously with him, because again, it's one of those things where like, if he can be said to have like a secret power, it is this ability to sort of like hold the regs in his head and like understand the letter very well. And this was an example where he might have still had a faster lap than Antonelli. They were both on laps that were headed towards P1. But his quick notice of, hey, wait a second, that's a single wave yellow, that preserved his pole, and ultimately probably improved his chances enormously for the race win, and became part of sort of a mid-season resurgence we're seeing from Russell here.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to sort of like talk about this. First of all, I guess it is it was a weird crash. Like, you don't tend to lose. So it seemed like from what I read, there was an issue with his active aero or something that caused him to basically go out. Because it is a peculiar place for it to happen. That said, like Rob said, apparently the single yellow came out from whatever was the closest marshal to that spot, but nobody was obviously able to it took them 22 seconds to get the double waved yellows out. People, I think, in hindsight and perhaps with some justification, would say, look, usually when they bring out a single yellow, it's because the car has gone off somewhere a little bit weird, and this is a little bit weird. But also then you start to worry about at that stage nobody knew why he went off there could have been debris on the track or bit of oil or whatever it was, right? And it's quite dangerous to have a car out there stricken on a fast corner like that, and then have other cars coming around that same corner. Obviously there was no marshals on the track. If there was, there would have been a double yellow immediately. As Rob said, they thought that maybe he could get it going again, so they were giving a bit of a grace period. Obviously hadn't seen the crash where he's completely binned it in the wall and probably ruined a bit of the suspension on the front left, if nowhere else. So yeah, I was a bit like, oh, that's crazy that they didn't like neutralize the race because somebody essentially drove off in a part of the track that at least when you see the crash initially, you're like, oh yeah, you can crash your car there. but it was a little bit of a weird spot. I will also say, so I think maybe there's a little bit of a conversation for the FIA there to figure out if they can, I don't know. I'm not sure if I guess in a race it would be different, but there's definitely that element in the fan base, I think, of people thinking, oh, for the love of the game, they kept the flags out of the mix for the end of quali, but I'm not really sure about that.
Are you talking about the commenters on the race? Because I haven't seen much of this online, but the best explanation of this is on the race, and as with all motorsports websites, if you scroll down past the end of the article, you will see like the biggest morons on the internet discussing the week's news. And so if you want to know what a subnormal intelligence, probably English guy in his 50s thinks about like things, then
that's where you go.
Just like sort of go down to those comments and just see what's up. And one of the things that you occasionally see is like, oh, but the FIA did this for the show.
Oh yeah,
they're rigging it.
Yeah.
They're trying to turn F1 into pro wrestling.
But look, Michael Massey did a lot of damage to that counter argument, because that was the one time that they did do something stupid for the show, and it ended up deciding a championship.
That is true. But by and large, the FIA has never been like, this is FIA doing this for a show. The FIA did a race under safety car for like 3 laps in Belgium and then sent everyone home because the track was too wet. You think these people are afraid of ruining the show?
Another great George Russell victory.
Yeah.
I will say, I think this was some welcomed gasoline on the fire for George Russell haters, though. This was like a real, if you dislike George, this was a real easy, a soft lob, you know what I mean? To be like, look, he doesn't even care about driver safety. Our perfect baby boy, Kimi Antonelli, immediately went into the pits, and George Russell...
Erroneously.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And George Russell, he just doesn't care. He's a sicko. He crashed into Valtteri Bottas that one time and blamed him. You know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of that going on as well.
Well, let's run down the rest of the grid here. George Russell, that pole position remains, so he will start the race in first position. Charles Leclerc, second place. Then Lewis Hamilton in third, and Kimi Antonelli in fourth, having bailed on that final run. Max Verstappen will line up fifth, followed by the 2 McLarens of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Then Isaac Hadjar in eighth, Liam Lawson in ninth, and Arvid Lindblad in the second Racing Bulls in 10th. Does it bother you guys when they refer to on the broadcast as a single car as a Racing Bulls?
Yeah, that's
yep.
annoying.
I hate that.
I don't like that.
I didn't. You know what? I hadn't noticed it, but now it makes me angry.
Yeah.
No.
I would accept a Racing Bull or a Racing Bull's car.
Yeah, I agree.
11th place, Pierre Gasly, Gabriel Bortoleto, Oliver Behrman, Nico Hulkenberg, Esteban Ocon in 15th, followed by Franco Colapinto, Carlos, and then 2 by 2 here, the Noah's Ark of the back of the grid.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, and Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. Okay, we are going to take a quick break, everyone, but then we will be back with the 2026 Austrian Grand Prix. Danny, do you want to take us through the start?
Sure. Lights out, off they go. Everyone's in the same order that they were qualified in. Kimi Antonelli has a little bit of trouble into the first corner,
couple of corners,
getting the car stopped. Yeah, exactly. And the same thing happens in the run into turn 3 after that big uphill climb. He runs a little bit wide again. The only overtake that really happens of consequence in this whole section is between the 2 Ferraris. Leclerc has a bit of a I don't know if he's trying on Russell or if he's just not had as good a corner, but Hamilton managed to get a better exit. And as they run down into the start of Sector 2, in that classic spot where Hamilton knocked out Ocon going up the inside, this time he goes around the outside and manages to overtake Chuck Leclerc.
Yeah. Also,
I don't think you'd ever say at turn 4 someone knocked out Ocon by going up the inside.
Oh, sorry, Albon.
It's always No, was it Albon?
It was Albon. Yeah, remember it was the race.
Then I rescind that. Yes,
Okay.
Hamilton Hamilton absolutely did tackle Albon on like 2 occasions, changing the trajectory of his entire career in life.
Exactly. This is I think the second one.
Yeah, Ocon, on the other hand, is always trying to go around the outside of turn 4, whether or not that is an advisable decision. So,
yeah,
that is. We needed to figure out who was innocent and who was guilty of these charges. Antonelli has a really scruffy first lap here. He never really gets it back together, and it sort of heralds what's going to be ongoing problems for him. Controlling the car. And it does set us up, though. We get a pretty amazing second lap with, after weeks of just bagging on the camera work and production decisions of the F1 broadcast. They brought the heat this time. You have as Antonelli runs off at turn 1, trying to overtake on Leclerc. That brings it sort of balks everyone. Verstappen ends up right with Leclerc and Antonelli racing toward the second sector, plunging down the hill towards turn 4, and manages to overtake both of them past turn 4, heading into that infield sector. And they cut to an actually good drone shot.
Yeah.
Now historically, there's only one good kind of drone shot, really, and that's the corner overhead stationary cam.
Yes.
But every time they try to do a drone chase cam, it's the saddest shit you've ever seen, and it's like, did you lose did the helicopter crash? Like, what's going wrong here? But this drone, I do wonder, is this that like special Red Bull drone that they engineered to like move a little faster?
All right.
So it is a drone that can roughly pace, not perfectly, but at the speeds they achieve at sort of the start of Sector 2, it can kind of pace the cars as they exit turn 4 and race toward 5 and 6, and follows them through 5 and 6. It follows them through some of the loop before it loses them on the exit. Awesome shot. We saw it a few times, but here was one of the most dramatic, as you sort of see the overtake and you're running alongside the cars as they're dueling down that not quite straight.
Yeah, it sort of benefits the drone operator in a way that the battle ends up being a little bit further back, where the McLarens start to sort of enter the fight and gobble up Antonelli as well. Yeah, it's so. I feel like this drone shot is like 80% of the way.
Yes,
it's like,
that's my feeling.
Yeah, it's quite good, but there's this dramatic tension with drone shots of you wondering if it's going to be able to keep up with it, and the nature of a wide angle lens like that, and the fact that you're basically like a steady cam jib situation, is that like people's comfort with framing on something like that is very, very, the window is very small. So like it's a really hard shot to pull off, because essentially you are trying to, like, there's a reason why, a crane shot in a movie or a lot of them are operated over and over and over again to make sure the framing works, because when it doesn't work, it makes you feel uncomfortable as a viewer. And this was slightly further behind than it needed to be sometimes. But I understand why. It's a wide angle lens, and you don't want to be ahead of the action and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a really tricky shot to pull off, and I think they did a pretty great job on it. But yeah, it's not all the way there, and I think that's just a byproduct of drone shots like that.
Do they always
really
use the wide angle lens on drones because they have to hedge about placement, that they're not actually confident they can track that smoothly?
I think there's a bunch of reasons. You can obviously push in, and a lot of them do have like multiple cameras and stuff like that. I think stabilization was the initial reason for this, because you can basically use software to if you're shooting wide, you can use software to basically like crop in slightly and then stabilize the shot within the frame. So I think historically that's kind of why.
You're also hamstrung here by the the size of the drone. Like, it's
wider lenses are small.
Yeah, exactly. And the drone needs to be small to be able to go that fast. I'll see if I can find the someone in the Discord posted sort of a behind the scenes of this particular
Yeah,
drone.
I saw it on Instagram or something. Somebody posted them doing it. It was
But
like a
yeah,
surprisingly small little crew there out there on the track doing it.
yeah, it looks like kind of a bullet with with four rotors on it. I would love to see a gimbal, to keep it level. And I'd like to
Right.
see, I think, higher resolution to be able to, as the cars inevitably streak away from the drone, they just get so small, and you kind of can't see what's happening.
But and if you didn't go that wide with that perspective, it would
They just leave the frame,
it wouldn't
start
work. It
breaking
would be
yeah.
it would exacerbate the problems you get with drone shots.
And they are hamstrung a little bit by having to not fly over the track for safety reasons,
Yeah.
right?
Although, man, they got a couple of the later shots. They were like pretty close. I was like, "Ooh, that's it looks further than it is on the lens sometimes." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that lens was. It was like, I don't know. It was pretty wide. It was like 15 or 12 or something. Or it was. Yeah. I was impressed by it. But yeah, we don't stick big telescopic lenses on them. It would look a little bit weird.
I did want to shout out
Flying Horse.
I did want to shout out Lawson on the first lap trying to get by. I think it was Norris, dipping onto the grass a little bit. Didn't end up working, but bold.
I want to say one more thing about the drone, which isn't. It's not about the drone as a piece of kit, but on the first lap, when they were looking down turn 4, I thought something had come off someone's car. It looked like a tire or something.
That was the drone.
It was the drone. Yeah.
Because MK saw this too and was like, "What is that?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
somebody just lose? Like, is that piece of the McLaren?" It was the drone.
Yeah. I had to go back and replay it after the race because I was like, because Hadjar was out on the grass. And so I thought something but the way it was moving, it was like, well, if it's moving at that speed, it has to be a tire or something. But like, clearly it wasn't. Or I was like, did a hubcap come off like someone's car? You know what I mean? It had that sort of view to it, but it was the drone. Later, then when I saw the drone, I was like, oh, okay. And then I went back and saw it. But yeah.
So, also worth noting, this is yet another Climate Change 200 Grand Prix. It was brutally hot up in Austria and
Yeah.
literally murderously hot across Europe. A lot of this past week, like 1,300 people have died across Europe in the extreme heat.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Which the European climate has meant that no buildings are prepared to deal with something like this. So. It's pretty serious stuff going on there. But for F1's purposes, it also means you're really at the outer limits of operating range for temperature, and I assume the thinner air in Austria does not help with the air cooling issues. It's why engines tend to be down on power in part at the altitude races. But I mentioned this because lap 2, Valtteri Bottas says his brakes are on fire. And we see him pulling into the pits on lap 3, at the start of lap 3, and then just disappearing in a fog bank of fire extinguisher gas. And as that is happening, Lawson reports his car's on fire. And then gets an awesome race with Hadjar as they do like those the switchback races. So the thing you see a lot at this race is the go-to move for getting past someone appears to be you check up hard on corner entry and go under them at the apex. You go inside and then try to beat them on the exit. The thing that's fun about that is neither of those lines, neither the outside line nor that undercutting line, is really the optimal. So everyone is losing time going through the corners that way, which means the move doesn't always stick, frequently doesn't, and you will get like multiple corners of drivers switching back and forth during a race. But there is no evidence of Hadjar's brakes being on fire. It just looks like he's on fire as he battles Isaac Hadjar.
And then Sorry, go ahead, Rob. I think you're.
Then he says, "I still am on fire." And then Perez, and this is like, this is starting to feel like test pilots or something like that. Perez reports smoke in the cockpit, and boxes to retire. So now, admittedly,
it's all part of Adrian Newey's new plan. Don't worry.
Mostly the back marker teams here afflicted by this. Now, speaking of Adrian Newey, it does not appear that they didn't catch fire, but they probably weren't going fast enough to overstress their brakes. This was a weekend where the Aston Martin impossibly seemed even further afield of the rest of the grid.
The heat probably. I mean, the heat was causing problems for lots of people. I think Ferrari as well, perhaps.
Yeah, kind of the first big narrative here is that the Ferraris are not. They may have qualified well, but not up to race pace. As you said, Rob, Verstappen got by Antonelli and Leclerc, and then Antonelli is lap 7 now, getting by Leclerc up the inside. And then the other narrative here is once Verstappen closes up to him for second place, Verstappen versus Hamilton. Lap 11. Who wants to take us through this battle?
Yeah, this was a fun one. Again, it was kind of like what Rob was saying earlier. There's that, up into turn 3, there's the sort of, check yourself and then sort of come get a better
Check
exit.
yourself and wreck the other guy.
Yeah, but Verstappen doesn't do that. Verstappen, and in this case, does the classic Verstappen, which is I'm going to brake later, and then you are going to be forced off the track. But I'm only joking. Like he does the brake later thing, but he does leave enough space just about for Charles. But Charles has to completely slow down essentially. So super aggressive. Lewis. Super aggressive, very well executed overtake. Hamilton, though, gets a better drive, I guess, out of that turn. Manages to overtake around the entry to turn 4. Big lock up from Verstappen. We get another one of these beautiful little drone shots with Verstappen attempting to do the job around the next turn. And then remembering Cop's corner in Silverstone, he does get on the dirt a little bit on the next turn and the next turn, but Hamilton is able to keep the position, at least for then. It was a few laps later.
Yes,
maybe.
lap 22 is when the battle heats up yet again, and again some awesome back and forth, some up and unders, some drone shots, but finally Max Verstappen does end up ahead, taking that third place from Hamilton.
Carlos Sainz entered the chat.
Well, in that first duel, Hamilton, the second Verstappen gets past him, right? Hamilton just goes off the track.
On the second one?
He boxes.
Oh, yeah, right.
This is where they're like, this is the Ferrari 3-stop thing that's sort of looming over this. Is that what they're going to try to do?
They have degradation problems, I think, as well, that they're running into.
I also wanted to call out in qualifying, sorry, I forgot about this, an amazing strategy call by Red Bull, and then an amazing explanation of that by Bernie Collins on Sky, who said that Red Bull wanted to retain as many brand new sets of tires as they could. And so they opted to send Verstappen out on some used tires in, I think this was Q2.
Right.
And he therefore set a time to get him through to Q3 by 40 thousandths of a second.
Oh, that's why he was so far down.
Yes, he was
Right.
almost pipped by, I forget who it was now. But he was almost pipped and would have been out, would have started 11th, I think. So great call, bold call by their strategy team. Hannah Schmidt, I think her name is, head of strategy at Red Bull. And then
She must have been schmitting herself when he was so low down the table.
Lap 24.
You're a dad now. Come on.
That's right. Yeah, I can appreciate it. Lap 24, Carlos Sainz, aforementioned, pulls over to the side of the start-finish straight with an issue. Williams, the other team, really not having a great race here.
No.
Just in time for Antonelli to or just past the optimal point for Antonelli. Antonelli pits, and then we get a virtual safety car. So
as
he
he's
does not
pulling
benefit.
out.
Yeah, he does not benefit at all. And in fact, people behind him do get the benefit of pitting under a virtual safety car.
Hamilton again.
Yes, for his eighth stop of the race or whatever this was. Actually, I can see here, thanks to shout out again to racefans.net.
Yeah, I think that might have been stop 2.
I think it was
lap 25. That would have been, yes, that was the second stop. So he started on mediums. His first stop went to hards, and now here he is going to soft tires. But that won't be his final pit stop of the race.
Yeah, it was because initially I was like, it was sort of weird because it's rare the timing works out this way. And I wasn't sure, is this going to help Antonelli? Because like the VSC is going to come out, he is box, but other cars will have to slow down. But yes, it did mean that he still paid like the full fare for the penalty of the stop, and then everyone else is getting the cheaper stop, which hurts him. His problems do not end there. When he gets out of the pits and he's back on track, he's asking about like why is the car why is the braking so bad, and Bono explains that he has a brake split. One set of brakes is significantly hotter than the other. Shortly after that, Hamilton is also having his own issues, and he is told the car needs to go into mode TS. I assume that means temperature safe, to deal with temperature issues. And Hamilton dryly notes, "I already have no power." And well, Lewis, you're getting less. Now I am curious. I'm curious what this mode is protecting. Maybe it's everything, but is the ice the issue here, or is it the batteries, which we already know, like the heat cycles on these batteries are already pretty brutal. And so I was kind of wondering, like, what is the most like what is the thing the teams are most worried about when they're looking at internal temperatures aboard the cars?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I imagine, we've seen Mercedes having battery problems. Those have been the culprits to a lot of their early season retirements.
And we've seen 3 retirements in this race that are likely heat related as well.
Yeah. So, yeah, not sure. But what is for certain is that Ferrari still being overtaken by their rivals. Antonelli gets by Leclerc, and here on lap 37, we've got the McLaren of Piastri, also getting by Leclerc, and then Lewis Hamilton going wheel to wheel with his teammate. They are on different strategies. Leclerc, I think, at this stage is on older tires. Hamilton now on his soft tires. Does get by, battles along sort of around a whole lap battle side by side with Charles Leclerc. But you can kind of see the writing on the wall there, and eventually Hamilton gets out ahead, and into the pits comes Charles Leclerc for some new hard tires.
Yeah, this dance happens a few times because when he comes back out, then there's another fight between him and Piastri. Lap 48, I think it was.
Because Hamilton then pits again.
Yeah.
Along with Piastri.
And then he gets 43. To overtake Leclerc again as well. So it's just like Leclerc's constantly getting overtaken by everyone either side of the strategy.
Right. Yeah. All right. Next thing I got here, lap 56, Charles Leclerc and Isaac Hadjar. Isaac getting down into, what is that, turn
4?
Yeah. And then a little drag race to with Leclerc on the inside.
Puff of smoke as well.
Yep. Hadjar cooks it, and then we get more drone shots as Hadjar does the up and under and speeds by. Lap 59, Lando Norris now up the inside of Leclerc. Poor Charles Leclerc.
Yeah,
just
he's going one direction, isn't he? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the end of this race was a bit sleepy. There wasn't too much. I mean,
Antonelli was catching Verstappen at a pretty good clip, but I think just ran out of race.
I mean, all the three of them, the top three, finished within like 2 seconds of each other or something.
It's true.
Pretty crazy at the end of a race this long. Yeah.
Yeah, Antonelli kind of
race.
does the thing, finishing the race, trying to, well, he does kind of a wiggle, but like, pulling next to Verstappen, seeing if he can get by. But yeah, it's at the end of the race. Russell on top, Verstappen second, Antonelli in a close third. And then we have Piastri making his way up to fourth. Well done, McLaren.
Yeah, he's about 20 seconds behind him, but still.
Lewis Hamilton in fifth, Isaac Hadjar sixth, Lando Norris seventh, and Charles Leclerc down in eighth. I think he even at one point was like, "Is there any downside to pitting? Because I'm so far behind."
That's what you want to hear.
That's
what you want to hear from your right. Yeah. Oh, sorry, to pit. Okay, not to to retire.
No. And his team was like, nope, there really isn't. So I think they do pit and still come out ahead of Liam Lawson, who finishes in ninth, Arvid Lindblad in 10th, which I believe is where they started. Gabriel Bortoleto finishes 11th, followed by Nico Hulkenberg, then Pierre Gasly, Oliver Behrman, Franco Colapinto in 15th. Then we've got Ocon, Albon, Fernando Alonso, and then the DNFs of Stroll, Sainz, Perez, and Bottas.
I think Stroll got a penalty as well, didn't he, for yellows or something?
I believe that.
Yeah. Classic.
Driver standings. Are these accurate? I now no longer trust. Okay. Yep. Indeed, I had to refresh. I don't know what is going on there. Kimi Antonelli has 171 points. George Russell now in second with 131. That is 40 points behind for you math heads out there. 6 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton in third, followed by Oscar Piastri in fourth and Lando Norris in fifth. They are separated by 1 point, and indeed, Charles Leclerc is tied on points with Lando Norris in sixth. Then Verstappen in seventh with, he's 6 points behind with 73. Then a little gap down to Isaac Hadjar in eighth with 42. Pierre Gasly is a point behind in ninth with 41. And then Liam Lawson in 10th with 30. Behind him, we have Oliver Behrman in 11th, Franco Colapinto 12th, Arvid Lindblad 13th, Carlos Sainz 14th, Alex Albon 15th, Esteban Ocon 16th, Gabriel Bortoleto is 17th, Fernando Alonso is 18th, and then the 0-point scorers of Nico Hulkenberg, Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez, and Lance Stroll. In the team standings, Mercedes is on top with 262. That is 72 points ahead of Ferrari in second. McLaren is in third with 141, and Red Bull in fourth with 89. Then we've got Alpine in fifth with 57, Racing Bulls in sixth with 41, Gene Hassan team in seventh have 21, Williams is in eighth with 11, Audi has 2, Aston Martin has 1, and Cadillac still with 0. And that, everyone, is the Austrian Grand Prix. We're going to do some quick hits here in the news section before we get to the British Grand Prix track walk. Rob, what's going on with our good friend Ben Sulayem?
Oh, boy.
Well, he's going to be our, we were all worried. Would our friendship ever end? Would we ever stop having races end with a reenactment of the scene where the Turkish general molests Lawrence of Arabia? No, we're going to keep getting it forever because the FIA, a body that we now know, basically has a unbreakable voting lock in favor of Ben Sulayem because of how the body is constructed. They voted to get rid of term limits.
And the term limit was like a dozen years, wasn't it? It's not like the term limit was like 4 years. It's like the term limit was already too long a term.
Yeah, well, I think there was a limit to how many terms you could do. Now, no longer. You can just keep doing terms. You got to keep getting voted in at the end of your term, but you can keep doing terms.
Oh, this is good. They also stiffened the eligibility requirements.
Oh, great.
Great.
So
I helped them last time.
So no term limits and harder for him to be challenged. He's in this job as long as he wants it.
He can buddy up to everyone. He can be besties with all the drivers and stand on every podium. And yeah.
Great.
What is up? I swear to God, somebody needs to make a video game where you take all of the, like him and Infantino at FIFA, like just take all of the heads of sports and then you just get to beat the living shite out of them because these people are just absolute ghouls. I don't know. Oh, it's worse in sport, but I think to have these people out there and rubbing shoulders and trying to, I don't know, shake babies and kiss hands. It's so gross.
Yeah.
Can't stand it.
All right. Other personnel news here. The rumors are flying thick and fast about Verstappen, as they have been. Is he going to stay with Red Bull? His management had some interesting quotes this week. They said, and this is in Dutch press, saying that Verstappen wants to remain at Red Bull for life, but, quote, wasn't born to race in the midfield. Sick burn. But also...
Probably accurate. I think Jos Verstappen probably in his project was, yeah.
Yeah, the-race.com has a good kind of breakdown here of all the different things.
Someday you also have an answer for what his other kids were born to do. I think something.
Organs, extra organs, in case Max needs them.
Verstappen does have a contract with Red Bull running into 2028, which is fast approaching. But his contract, and I'll just quote you from the article, also contains a clause that allows him to exit the team if he's not inside the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship at some unspecified point in August 2026.
This happens again, yeah.
There's also believed to be a mechanism that means Verstappen does not have to notify the team that the clause is being activated until October. The race then points out, though, where does he go? Everybody else, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren, everybody's locked down until at least 2027. So the thinking is that, and also here, Max Verstappen met apparently with Zach Brown. That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Everyone.
He meets everyone, and everyone meets everyone. So
they were just playing paddle.
That's right. As the race points out, this may just be putting a little pressure on Red Bull to sweeten the deal for his next contract. But yeah, I just wanted to keep everybody up to date on the rumors.
Verstappen.
Has Max ever been seen on a golf course?
Ooh.
I don't know the F1 guy. Well, let's see. Sainz and Norris, I think, are
right. But this is the only way.
The links.
I think Zach Brown is going to realize he will have no capacity to build rapport with that kid
because he doesn't golf.
No, the only Verstappen on a golf course thing I've seen is him almost killing Kelly Piquet in a golf cart. Do you remember that?
Oh, is this a Drive to Survive?
No,
there's a video of him
racing a golf court.
Racing
golf. So he does golf. That's right. He must have. He's on a golf cart, of course.
Okay.
And he started racing his buddies, his entourage, basically.
Yeah.
With his kid, with his wife in the cart.
Great.
That's good stuff.
All right, that's it for news. Let's take it to the track walk, Danny.
Off to Silverstone we go, the classic Formula One track where it all began, 1950. 52 laps around this old RAF base. You can tell from the sort of triangular pattern of the runways how they put this one together. 5.891 kilometers or 3.66 miles. Obviously, so much history here at Silverstone. My mind is still boggled by the fact that they changed where the start-finish straight is. Every time we go around this track, I still get a little bit confused. But it's full of, just iconic corners left, right, and center. We've had years and years of different moments over here. Mansell's overtake of Piquet, Schumacher and Hill battling here. Hamilton's great races over the years, Lando Norris winning it. Just loads of great moments. Obviously, the incident I already mentioned earlier today of Hamilton and Verstappen on Copse as well. This is a real sort of front limited, high speed, low drag, very fast corners. So Ferrari's woes are probably not going to be great for the next couple of races, maybe, given the tracks that we have coming up. The heat wave seems to be passing east, so I'm not sure if it's going to be as hot. You'll get into that in a second, I'm sure, Drew. But Yeah, this is
What's it doing here with me?
Yeah, this horsepower wins at Silverstone, just because of the nature of the high speed corners and stuff. So, but yeah, I think reliability is going to continue to rear its head here, and perhaps maybe the brake situation with the heat, but it all comes down to, I guess, how hot it's going to be.
Yeah, well, just personally, this is, I think, my highest rated track.
Nice.
Yeah, the last 4 years, I have rated this a 4 out of 4, a 4, a 3, and a 4. So, don't want to jinx anything, but
Austria was weirdly sleepy, I thought, for a track that we usually get some good stuff at. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I still thought the race was entertaining. It did not dip into strategy race for me, but
no.
Yeah.
It got a 3, did it?
It got a 3. It got a 3. Weather-wise, Danny, you mentioned, this is a sprint weekend, by the way.
Oh.
So we will be, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll have some bearing on points. So we're looking at Friday, temps as high as 77 or 25 Celsius. 0% chance of precipitation, and looks like light to moderate wind, 10 miles an hour out of the west, or 16 kilometers an hour. Saturday, little higher wind, still 0 precipitation, and similar temps, maybe a degree or 2 higher. Sunday, temperatures climb to 83.
Oh boy, okay.
Fahrenheit, or 28 Celsius.
It's a lot.
5% chance of precipitation. And back to kind of medium wind at 10 miles an hour, or 16 kilometers an hour. So warm, no rain.
Yeah, keep your sun cream on, lads. Yeah, we've got Belgium, just so people a bit of a catch up. Spa's on after this, a couple of weeks after this. The week after that, it's Hungary, and then we're into the summer break, which is about a month long.
Yes, indeed. Well, you should get your fantasy teams all squared away ahead of the British Grand Prix. If you partake, you can also join our league using the link in the show notes. Here is the podium from the Austrian Grand Prix. In third, Lando Calrotisserie Chicken.
That's doing a lot, but I like it.
In second, Show Me the Shadowfax.
Oh, okay. Shadowfax.
And in first...
That was good. Your Gandalf was good.
Thank you.
Do it again.
Shadowfax.
Oh my God. It's great.
And in first, Ocelot Hippo Racing.
It sounds like a Metal Gear Solid character.
It's pretty good. In third overall, though, Fan Amp Fantasy HQ.
Whoa.
Sounds like a F1 sponsor.
Sounds like a strip club.
In second, the Macarena. And in first, as always, cigarettes.
Nicotine patches, I'm sure, on the hunt, though.
Indeed. Shift+F1podcast@gmail.com or f1.cool/emails if you'd like to send us a message. You could also hit us up on the socials. That's us around the internet. Should we take it around the world, Danny?
Let's race around the world.
Okay, that was a good one. I like that.
Thank you. I was inspired by her. I should have done it as Gandalf.
Formula E is in Shanghai. The Shanghai Audi International Circuit, apparently, is a thing for the Shanghai E-Prix.
Audi, very Chinese company.
Sure. Formula 2 and Formula 3 are supporting Formula 1 in Silverstone this weekend. We have DTM at the Norrisring.
Orlando, will you be there?
In Nuremberg, Deutschland. The NASCAR O'Reilly Series is in Chicagoland. The Chicagoland Speedway for the Cuervo 300.
What you call me?
The Cuervo Gold.
What's Cuervo?
That's a tequila.
Okay.
The fine Colombian. Motocross Grand Prix is in South Africa, and it at Terratopia Motocross Track New. Yes. The Terratopia Motocross Track New.
NEW?
Is this NEW? Yeah. Is this someone looking at my Premiere file names?
V4 final new.
Right. IndyCar is at Mid-Ohio for the Honda Indy 200 in Lexington, Ohio. And we got NASCAR.
Yeehaw.
Also in the land of Chicago for the Eero 400.
Eero.
Is it a router? They make routers?
Eero. Oh, Eero. Is that
E-E-R-O?
Yeah, they do like a Wi-Fi, like, what do you call them? Meshes, I think.
Sure.
Mesh networks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Formula One, maybe you've heard of it. Things kick off Friday, July 3rd. Free practice one is at 7:30 a.m., followed by sprint qualifying at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Then Saturday, July 4th, the 4th of July.
Yeehaw.
Welcome to Earth. Welcome to the sprint at 7 a.m., followed by qualifying at 11 a.m. And then the race, everyone, Sunday, July 5th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Danny, that's what happened this weekend. What happened this day in history?
This day in history, June 30th. The French Grand Prix has been held twice on this day in history, and both were flag-to-flag victories for British drivers, who both went on to win the title that same season. The first was in 1963, when Jim Clark was in his pomp, apparently. After qualifying on pole, Clark drove away from the rest of the field in his Lotus and won by over a minute from Tony Maggs, who was a second for Cooper. In 1986, Damon Hill was beaten to pole by Michael Schumacher, but the German's Ferrari engine blew up on the parade lap. Hill then finished off in his Williams Renault and won from his teammate Jacques Villeneuve in second. The two Benettons of Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger finished behind them, making it a 1-2-3-4 finish for Renault engines on French soil. Oh, those halcyon days.
Yeah. Still angry at what the French are doing to our telephone system.
Oh my gosh.
And our economy.
People who have not listened to our Patreon podcasts are going to be very confused by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a pretty good Austria, and looking forward to pretty good question mark British Grand Prix. Final thoughts, Danny?
We'll have to see. Yeah, this has been a weird season. It's been a roller coaster of, is this a good season? And at the moment, it feels like the pack has shuffled into its places a wee bit. I'm seeing a lot of 2x2s in qualifying. The Ferrari World Championship threat, I think, is largely stymied.
Well, I mean, they had that upgrade, right, which we mentioned last week
Yeah.
for Austria, and then they had a hot race at high altitude. So,
Yes.
Is it representative? I don't know.
Density altitude caught them again.
That's right.
I guess we'll see.
So dangerous for Ferraris and airplanes.
Yes. I think Silverstone will be demonstrative. I do think, though, just because of the nature of this and Spa and Lewis is good in Hungary, but yeah, it's going to be. Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe it becomes an interesting fight between them and the McLarens that we kind of got a little bit in Austria, but yeah, the Drivers' Championship this year, seems to be between those two Silver Arrows, and there's plenty more races to go.
I mean, that can be interesting.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Rob?
Eero is Amazon's house brand for networking products.
Oh, is it?
Not super well regarded.
Buy it? Yeah, I had one. They're expensive. I got one. I had to return it in the end. It was not happy with my router, but then it happens. Yeah.
Ooh, is that another one?
Router? Yeah. Do you say router?
Router.
Oh my God, my router won't work. Here's my Gandalf.
So it's spelled dog.
Took the 405 to get the best spot to get a router.
What are you talking about?
All right, if you'd like to support the show and get access to all of our bonus episodes, the early ad-free version of the podcast, and the official Shift+F1 Discord, you can do so over at patreon.com/ShiftF1. Have a good race weekend, everyone. We will see you all next week.
Meow.